This is the second of the series of videos in project management competency. So here we say, or rather we define what a project is. A project is a temporary endeavor with a clear-cut objective. When achieved, will create a unique product or service. Now, this is a broad definition of a project. Now, anything which follows this concept can be a project. So, even making a cup of tea, which has got a beginning and an end, can be defined as a project. Right? So, anything which continuously flows or continues, that's not a project, that's a process. So that's the difference. Now the second thing is project management. What is project management? Project management is the method by which you apply processes and techniques to achieve the scope or the objectives within the planned time and cost. So the planned part is important because you have a plan and you are going by that plan to achieve the objective. The third thing is the stakeholders. Very important, because stakeholders is something which are going to come up again and again. And stakeholders are people or entities who can influence or can be influenced positively or negatively by the project. Now, so even a union, a labor union prevalent in your area could be a stakeholder in the project. It's very important to involve all stakeholders when planning and executing the project, because if you don't do that, these could become major issues in the project. Next one is about constraints and assumptions. Now, what are constraints? Constraints are certain restrictions placed on the project through the requirements. Now, for example, there can be a schedule constraint, which means you have to complete the project within a certain time. So you can do whatever you want in other parameters like scope or cost or whatever, but the schedule has to be maintained. It can be a cost constraint where the budget is fixed and you have to maintain that budget. So this is an example of a constraint. You can have constraints even in your daily working, where it could be some impediment coming up in the next day's work or in the week's work. So these also have to be handled. These are daily constraints, so to speak, or weekly constraints. The next and last one is the assumptions. Now, assumptions are what you presume to be correct and then go ahead with your estimates for time and for cost. Now, these are not proven and later could be proven otherwise. In such a case, they become a risk, right? So you have to factor this into your risk management so that if the assumptions change, you would be knowing what you have to do because you already planned it in the risk. Now, these are the few of the things I wanted to talk about in this video.